Hello my good people! I love action RPG games such as Zelda, A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. That is one of my favorite. And I even like more Landstalker that was released for the Sega Genesis or Sega Megadrive. And naturally, when there's a remake from an old game, like the original Game Boy Zelda Link's Awakening, so this one was on the Switch, the remake, I definitely like to check it out, and this was an excellent one by the way. So one day while I was in a store looking at video games, I came across Dragons, Dawn of New Riders for the Switch. And even if it looks like a little bit childish, I was wondering if it could be a good game, and when I looked at the photos in the back, it looked like an action RPG, what I like, meaning this 16-bit style RPG, kind of. So I googled it real quick, and because the price was not too much, I decided to give it a go. So now let's see if this game, Dragons, is as good as a Zelda, or even better, or if it's just trying to be like a Zelda and if it's not that good. Let's see, and let's jump right into it. Hope you'll enjoy. After the typical introduction that you have for any adventure games with cutscenes, etc., you start playing. So as you can see, you have your main character and your little dragon. When you arrive for the first time in front of the water with the main character, you cannot go through because unlike Zelda, your character cannot swim. So that's at this time that you switch with your dragon for the first time, and your dragon can spit some frozen thing that makes the water hard, frozen, and you guys can just walk on it. Both of them have their own life bar that is represented with multiple heart points. So at the beginning you don't have too many, like in each video game in this style, but you can find some through the game. Like in Zelda and a lot of similar games, you can find chests. In this chest you can obviously have heart points, you can also find armor or weapons, and also herbs. These kind of herbs or items I use to exchange it with one of your little friends that gives you potions in exchange that will replenish your life after you have been hurt. So here's the screen that pops up when you talk to your friend Astrid in order to exchange some of your items to get health potions. You can see there are three kinds of health potions, the small one, the medium and the large one. Obviously they are more expensive the bigger they are. And to the right you have other kind of potions or products that can help you through the game. So this one, for example, it help boost your speed for you and your dragon. Then this other one, the porridge, it boosts attacks, so you hit enemies harder. And finally, the one that is called Yaknog, it boosts your defense. So all of these 6 items could be purchased, or mainly I would say exchanged items such as herbs that you collect through the game, either within chests or when you break some trees or shrubs or table, etc. That's how you get items to exchange. Now let's look at the option hub, where you can see all your resources, your weapon, and the different potions that you found or that you purchased with your friend. So for the weapon, you have 3 kinds of weapon, and these weapons are usually found in chests. So the first one is what looks like an axe. that is actually called the Electric Storm Crasher. You also have something that looks like a big hammer that they call the Flaming Iron Breaker. And finally, the last one, that is a sword, is actually called the Freezing Whip Fang. This weapon can be upgraded when you go to the shop. You see here, this is the option menu for when you are in the shop. You can upgrade or use crafting, as you can see on top. This can also be used for your protection. So protection, you can have your helmet, you can also have the body armor, and finally you have different shields as well. All weapons can be used to fight against enemies, but some weapons are more efficient towards some enemies, so you will have to learn which one is better and to switch weapon when necessary. And for the hammer, you will need it in some sections to move big blocks. And in some areas you would have to use the axe or the sword in order to chop a tree and to cross a specific section. In this game you have multiple kind of land, because you go from one island to another island. So first it looks more like really greenish with trees. Then you're gonna be in some areas where it's more frozen with snow and ice. Other land can be in fire or with fog, and you also have dungeons. So the typical dungeon aspects, I would say, with doors to unlock, etc. To go from one island to another island, you actually ride your dragon, and it changes totally how you play the game, and it's really cool. You can go up and down in the sky. At the beginning, when I just started the game, I spent some time just enjoying myself flying my dragon. However, I wish they could have used this flying section to maybe have some fights at some point, or leverage it in another way than just using it to go from point A to point B. When you are flying, you can open a map. That's pretty useful to see exactly where you're going, because when you're in clouds you don't even know which direction you're going to. And also, each time you complete an island, especially the side islands, it shows a check mark. Now let's talk about the mechanics of this game. So the first thing is, in combat, most of the time what you do is that you hit the enemy, then you roll away, you come back, hit again, on and on. That's the main technique. I think that the shield doesn't do much, and I've never really used it, to be honest, and it feels like it doesn't block much. And you can have a super attack, so you hold the button, the attack button, for some time, and you wait until it charges to hit the enemy. Same thing, this thing I don't use it too much because I always have to wait for so long, and in the meantime the enemy can hit me, and also you cannot change direction when you do this, you are blocked. And you can switch with your little dragons. The dragon actually does not do much damage to the enemies, so usually I just stay with the main character. Sometimes you have to help your dragon that has been trapped by the enemies while in combat. So you have to cut the net he's been trapped in. Also, when you are almost dead, it switches to the dragon or the main character, depending on who you are, and then you can go back to the dying character and help him to get back on his leg, and if you still have some potion, to use it in order to get energy back. So now how this game really works. It is actually fighting some enemies. When you have got rid of them, it may open a door or a fence, and you can go to the next section. Otherwise, it can be that you are in a dungeon and you have to press some buttons. For example, you are on one button, your dragon can go through some gates. Then your dragon can press a button on the other side of the gates and it allows you to advance as well. The other kind of things that you would have to do is to find some levers. So you hit the lever in order to open a door or another section. Sometimes the levers are protected by gates, so it can be a block that you have to move on a push button. So if it's the case, you use your hammer to push this block on and on. So that's what you have in this game. The main thing to go through this kind of puzzle, not really puzzle, but it's how you progress in the game. And you have a few sections where you have this thick fog and you have holes. So in order to go through, you use your dragon with this flamethrower in order to make this fog disappear for some time. Talking about your dragon, you have actually 3 different use of your dragon. You can have this flamethrower, as I said, it's for the fog. You have the one that you have at the very beginning that can freeze ice to progress on water. And you have another one that is a lightning. So the lightning is used to activate this lever. So you need to use your dragon in some specific section and goes from one ability to another one. So I would say this game is a little bit interesting with this mechanic between you and your dragon. Through the game, you have to fight different dragons that have been used by the enemy to fight with her using some kind of potions. So each time you free one of these dragons is on your side. And when needed during combat, you can call some of these dragons. And each of these dragons, when you call them, they have a specific ability. It can be a dragon coming to throw flames, or another one that would be more like with ice, etc. It reminds me a little bit of the magic in the Golden Axe game on Sega. It's a cool touch, but to be honest, it doesn't do much while you're in a combat. When you are on land, you also have maps. The maps can tell you which section you are in. Pretty useful. On this map, you can see as well at the bottom right how many chests you have open, and it tells you the total number of chests that exist on this island. So what I did, I finished the game first, and then to finish it 100%, I was going to each island to make sure I found all chests. So at the end, what do I think about this game? It controls pretty well, even if sometimes it feels like your character sticks a little bit to corners. It is a basic and simple action RPG game on the short side. It is pretty easy and you can complete it within 8 hours or even less. I would say that it is ideal for a kid and to get into an action RPG. It has some good ideas, such as flying your dragon from an island to another island. And it's pretty cool to switch from the dragon to the main character depending on the section and what is needed, but they would have needed to be developed more, all these ideas. More content would have been welcome, such as additional weapons, gear, items, more enemies, more island, etc. It feels like this game was maybe on a short timeline and that they could not implement more. For an action RPG to compete with a Zelda game, for instance, it would have needed at least 20 hours or more of gameplay. Some hidden items, hidden chests, hidden areas, and more diversity overall. However, I would still recommend this game if you can get it for a fair price. and if you just want to have a fun, relaxing game, especially if you don't have too much time to be involved in a long-lasting adventure. At the end, I had a very good experience for the $20-ish I spent in this game.
I want to thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share the video if you enjoy the content. In the meantime, have a good one.